Gospel according to St. Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
Gathered on the Mount of Olives, Jesus gave his final teachings to his disciples. When finished, Jesus said to them,
"You know that after 2 days the Passover is coming, and the Son of Man will be handed over to be crucified."
Then the chief priests and the elders of the people gathered in the place of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and they conspired to arrest Jesus by stealth and kill him.
But we dare not kill him during the festival, or there may be a riot among the people.
Now while Jesus was at Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very costly ointment, and she poured it on his head as he sat at the table. But when the disciples saw it, they said,
Why this waste? This ointment could have been sold for a large sum and the money given to the poor.
Why do you trouble the woman? She has performed a good service for me, for you always have the poor with you, but you will not always have me. By pouring this ointment on my body, she has prepared me for burial. Truly, I tell you, wherever this good news is proclaimed in the whole world, what she has done will be told in remembrance of her.
Then one of the 12, who was called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests.
What will you give me if I betray him to you?
Here are 30 pieces of silver. Deliver him to us.
I will let you know when and where you may have him.
On the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus.
Where do you want us to make preparations for you to eat Passover?
Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, the teacher says, my time is near. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples.
So the disciples did as Jesus had directed them, and they prepared the Passover meal. When it was evening, he took his place with the 12, and they ate the Passover meal.
Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me.
Surely not I, Lord.
The one who has dipped his hand into the bowl with me will betray me. The Son of Man goes as it is written of him. But woe to that one by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that one not to have been born.
Surely not I, Rabbi.
Take, eat.
No.
This is my body.
No.
Wrong page.
You have said so.
While they were eating, Jesus took a loaf of bread, and after blessing it, he broke it and gave it to the disciples.
Take, eat. This is my body.
Then he took a cup, and after giving thanks, he gave it to them.
Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will never again drink of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom.
When they had sung the hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives.
You will all become deserters because of me this night. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I am raised up, I will go ahead of you to Galilee.
Though all become deserters because of you, I will never desert you.
Truly I tell you, Peter, this very night, before the cock crows, you will deny me 3 times.
Even though I must die with you, I will not deny you.
Let us go to Gethsemane. Come, Peter, and you 2 sons of Zebedee, sit here while I go over there and pray. I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and stay awake with me.
And going a little farther, he threw himself on the ground and prayed.
My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not what I want, but what you want.
Then he came to the disciples and found them sleeping.
Peter, could you not stay awake with me 1 hour? Stay awake and pray that you may not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Again, he went away for the 2nd time and prayed.
My Father, if this cannot pass unless I drink it, your will be done.
Again, he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were heavy. So leaving them again, he went away and prayed for a 3rd time, saying the same words. Then he came to the disciples a 3rd time.
Are you still sleeping and taking a rest? See, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand.
Now, while he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a large crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one I will kiss is the man. Arrest him." At once he came up to Jesus and said,
"Greetings, Rabbi."
and Judas kissed Jesus.
Friend, do what you are here to do.
Then they came and laid hands on Jesus and arrested him. Suddenly one of those with Jesus put his hand on his sword, drew it, and struck the slave of the high priest, cutting off his ear.
Put your sword back into its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Do you think that I cannot appeal to my Father, and he will at once send me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled, which say it must happen in this way? Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me, as though I were a bandit? Day after day I sat in the temple teaching, and you did not arrest me. But all this has taken place, so that the scriptures of the prophets may be fulfilled.
Then all the disciples deserted him and fled. Jesus took him to Caiaphas, the high priest, in whose house the scribes and the elders had gathered. But Peter was following him at a distance, as far as the courtyard of the high priest. And going inside, he sat with the guards in order to see how this would end.
We must put him to death, but we have no one who will make testimony against him.
Finally, two who were willing to make false testimony came forward.
This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God.
And then he said he would rebuild it in 3 days.
Have you no answer? What is it that they testify against you?
But Jesus was silent.
I put you under oath before the living God. Tell us if you are the Messiah, the Son of God.
You have said so, but I tell you, from now on you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power and coming on the clouds of heaven.
Such blasphemy. Why do we still need witnesses? You have now heard this blasphemy. What is your verdict?
He deserves death.
Then they spat in his face and struck him, and some slapped him, prompting him to prophesy and tell them who it was who struck him.
Now Peter was sitting outside in the courtyard. A servant girl came to him.
You also were with Jesus the Galilean.
I do not know who you are talking about.
When he went out to the porch, another servant girl saw him.
This man was with Jesus of Nazareth.
I do not know the man.
Then a bystander came.
Certainly you are also one of them, for your accent betrays you.
I do not know the man.
And at that moment, the cock crowed, and Peter remembered.
I would deny him 3 times before the cock crows.
He went out and wept bitterly.
When morning came, all the chief priests and the elders of the people conferred together against Jesus in order to bring about his death. They bound him, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate, the governor. When Judas, his betrayer, saw that Jesus was condemned, he repented and brought back the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and the elders.
I have sinned by betraying innocent blood.
What is that to us? See to it yourself.
Judas threw down the pieces of silver in the temple and went and hanged himself.
It is not lawful to put this money into the treasury, since it's blood money.
So the priests used it to buy the potter's field as a place to bury foreigners.
For this reason, that field has been called the field of blood to this day. Then was fulfilled what had been spoken through the prophet Jeremiah. And they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of the one on whom a price had been set, on whom some of the people of Israel had set a price, and they gave them for the potter's field, as the Lord commanded. Now Jesus stood before the governor.
Are you the king of the Jews?
You say so.
But when he was accused by the chief priests and elders, he did not answer.
Do you not hear how many accusations they make against you?
But he gave him no answer, not even to a single charge, so that the governor was greatly amazed.